Welcome in. This is 300 Yards to Unknown. I'm Rick Gehman, and joining me, as he does every Wednesday from The Score, you can find him at ePatGolf. It's Eric Patterson. What up, my dude?
I'm doing, not much. I thought you were gonna ask how you doing, but I was
I
gonna
switched
say,
it up.
yeah, I'm not doing as well as you, Mister Rick Run Good, guys, on a heater. But yeah, high expectations for you this week. So good luck.
Rick Run great at the moment, but as we know, that is one of the least sustainable things is picking golf winners. But I will embrace it for now until someone burns me, which is probably going to happen this week, EPAT.
I don't know. You're on a guy that I've been a little ice cold personally, and I'm kind of leaning in the same direction you are this week. So we shall see.
We shall see. All right, we'll reveal that later. Let's talk about last week. RBC Heritage, Webb Simpson takes it down. I think, okay, just removing myself from the fact that I was heavily invested in Webb Simpson. I had like top 10s on Abe Answer. I had an outright on Abe. Webb was my one and done pick. He was just like everywhere. I just had him everywhere. I remove all of that. The last 2.5 to 3 hours of that golf event, everything after the weather delay was phenomenally entertaining.
There was something about the weather delay obviously sucked. I think going into Sunday, everyone was really excited to see how that leaderboard was going to unfold with, another pretty solid group in contention. And that weather delay kind of took the wind out of people's sails, but they came back and it was just like a flurry of golf shots. And it was just like constant and guys making runs. You had Berger chipping in. You had Koepka grabbed a piece. I guess JT made a run like right before the delay, but came out and I think he had a putt to another birdie look. But like it was just there were so many guys in that little as they were fighting darkness. The pace of play picked up and it was just very entertaining and I couldn't really watch it turn away.
The fact that we did not have to finish on Monday was great. The fact that they got it in, JT shot a 63 with 2 bogeys on the card. Like that's freaking unbelievable. Like he's so good. He might win this week, honestly.
It seems like one of those weeks where a big guy is going to get it, but JT found something, Brooks found something. It was just things are trending up for a lot of the game's best.
Which now includes Webb Simpson, top 5 player in the world. Second win this season after 4 second-place finishes last year. I think there was a moment, and this we can talk a little bit about the broadcast too, and the letting the mics run. There was a perfect moment on 18, which I think is the epitome of Webb Simpson, which he's walking up 18 fairway with Paul Tesori, his caddy, and he mentions something about something they need to add to the yardage book for next year, which is like, my guy, you're trying to make, birdie or par on 18 on the 72nd hole on Sunday to win the golf tournament. And you are thinking about like making improvements for next year. Like this guy, he never stops.
It's pretty crazy to think about. I actually missed that part that you're talking about, but that's kind of just how in the zone he is. Like he's probably not even thinking about the situation or like what's at stake. He's just focused on, at that point, he was focused on his yardage book and he was focused on getting a good number for the final shot. Like the moment didn't kind of overtake and didn't get too nervous. I think that's a sign of someone who's been there before. But yeah, that's another testament to, I'm not the only one who's probably beaten the drum of no fans, but I thought I didn't miss them again. We got more great interactions between caddies, between players, more hot mics picking up F words and more entertaining pieces of video from that stream. I think Rom's caddy dropped a giant F-bomb that was picked up, which is pretty good. But yeah, haven't been missing the fans and the golf's been fantastic. So we're 2 for 2 coming out of the break.
If we could find a way to never let fans back in, I would be absolutely thrilled. Like, obviously that's not going to happen. There's revenue, there's excitement, there's growing the game, there's all of that. But I have thoroughly enjoyed the lack of fans and the, CBS they've basically said this, like they've made an effort to just stop talking, to just shut up and let the mics pick up what they're going to pick up, whether that is player caddy stuff, whether it is on 18. What were they ripping? Who was it? Ortiz's caddy for not raking the bunker.
Not raking the bunker.
That's what, like, that is stuff we would have never, ever, ever have heard.
Yeah, that was good. I guess that did you hear what Faldo said? He was kind of in the spotlight, and then him and Koepka are going back and forth, which I love when Koepka gets into a beef with a media member or someone, and just taking subtle jabs here and there. It just shows that, I don't know, maybe this is looking too far into it, but I think when Koepka is like a little pissed off, he plays a little better and has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. So yeah, that fascinating stuff from Faldo, and then Koepka puts it to 3 feet from 330 yards, and more fascinating stuff. Koepka said it was a fascinating week, so he's he definitely hears everything. And I thought, yeah, no mics again led to another, good moments, good entertainment from Koepka Faldo perspective.
It's a fascinating beef. Okay, yeah. So in the same way that, like, I feel like Koepka loves that stuff, like Patrick Reed loves that stuff too, right? Like, if you have an opportunity to get a chip on your shoulder, they take it. And I think the Koepka part wasn't his fascinating stuff tweet like during the weather delay. So like, this guy's like in the locker room, like clapping back at Nick Faldo.
And then it was mid weather delay, and then he came out, and I think his first few shots were within like 6 feet, his approach shot. So he was just dialed in, but then kind of lost it down the stretch. But yeah, that was Koepka definitely doesn't not search for his name on Twitter, or at least he sees the PGA Tour mentions.
Yeah, he had me nervous for a while because he was throwing darts. He had that 3-hole stretch that he played 4 under. I think it was 10, 11, and 12. And he was firing darts on the back, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's going to run up here and steal this thing and take everything away. But luckily the putter cooled off a little bit. Yeah,
that weather delay, I think, definitely helped Webb and Answer kind of separate, and Hatton for that matter, because it didn't, like, that for a while it looked like JT was, and Fratelli at 17 under it was going to be tough to kind of get there, because Webb kind of came out of the gates a little slow. Answer was kind of the same, and then the weather hit, and I think Webb alluded to it. He felt like he could play a lot more aggressive with softer greens and start kind of hitting his putts, and you saw them starting to drop. But yeah, Koepka came out firing. All those guys, soft course, these guys can go low. It was proven there on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Webby flipped the switch there. Is he the player of the year now?
He's got 2 wins and a few other top 5s. He's definitely in the conversation. I would say it's between him or Justin Thomas, who has 2 other wins. So
yeah, so the guys with 2 wins are Webb Simpson, Justin Thomas, and Brenton Todd. But
sorry, Todd.
Yeah, not gonna happen. So Webb's got 5 top 10s. Justin Thomas has 10 of them. If you care at all about the FedEx Cup points, which you shouldn't, Webb is in the lead there, but not that matters. Yeah, so right now it's a 2-horse race. Now, this kind of came up a little bit. I think it came up on the CBS pod where, like, majors, they're kind of used as tiebreakers a lot in the player of the year discussion. So, but you're only going to get 1 major this season. So are you just going to give it to the guy who wins the PGA? Or, like, obviously if one of these guys who already has a win wins a major, like, he probably becomes the de facto player of the year. But, like, it's weird now.
Yeah, it is, especially after last year's player of the year conversation with Koepka and his majors versus Rory and his players and the money. So maybe they'll just, whoever has the most money kind of wins player of the year, which I could see that happening, depending on who wins the PGA. If JT goes and wins the PGA, then obviously he's the clear-cut player of the year. But yeah, last year they kind of debunked that theory. I think it's more, a lot of guys vote who earns the most money and who is kind of most consistent throughout the season, and not just the major championships. So we'll probably see that again this shortened weird season, and then next year we got 6 majors, so we'll see who dominates those.
Then someone's going to win 2 majors next year and not be the player of the year.
That'd be hard.
It's yeah, so I think Rory very clearly, to me, I think should have won it last year, and I think he correctly did. Low key though, Justin Thomas, if you want to talk about, like, the money list, and this doesn't include the bonuses for, like, the Tour Championship or whatever, he won the money title in 2017. He won it in 2018. He was, I don't know if he was still leading it right now or he's like top 2 right now. I can check in 1 second. He is, oh, come on. I'll check, but he was like first or second after RBC Heritage. He should have won it last year too, but he missed that time because he wrapped his club around a tree at Honda. Like low key, this guy could be 4 years in a row the money winner.
That's a guy likes his bucks. I would have. He's definitely he's got to be the odds-on favorite to win money title again this year. So JT, yeah, when he started, he was. I remember used to always talk about like him being so his floor and ceiling were so far apart. And now it's a narrow gap. And I think last week we saw that he didn't really have it at Colonial and back-to-back top 10s if I'm remembering correctly. So JT's knocking at the door, Koepka's knocking at the door, Bryson's knocking at the door. And we got some big events. I guess this week's pretty sweet. Then Memorial, then the PGA will be here before we know it.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to get there's going to be a week here where we don't get this star-studded field. It's probably next week, honestly.
I think it's next week, yeah.
Yeah.
These guys have been going 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And going to Detroit, Rocket Mortgage. It was not really that strong of a field last year. And then I think a week off there, and then they head to Memorial. So I think next week it's going to be kind of the lull in the schedule. Fowler will be there. He's got to promote Rocket Mortgage Insurance or whatever it is. So he'll be there. But other guys, who knows?
What does PMI even mean, Rick? That's what that's from, right? The event before the Memorial has an official name now. I don't know.
That.
I don't know when this happened. There was a lot of other stuff going on, but the Workday Charity Open at Muirfield Village Golf Club, that is a bottom 5 name on tour.
Yeah, when these names come out, I always think how I'm going to write them in headlines, and it's probably just going to be the Workday Charity Open is all right. I could deal with that. We don't need the course in there as well, but
why can't we just call it? It should have just been, I guess, the charity they want to do, but it could have been the Workday Open. That could have been like the easy solution here. But I do think you'll get, I don't know, like you won't get Tiger to play back-to-back, obviously, but like you will probably get more guys to play that because it's like, I'll be here for 2 weeks anyway. I might as well just try to win all the money.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be great prep for the Memorial, which is a pretty marquee event. So I don't see why guys at least go see the course, play 4 rounds. If you're not like super invested in the tournament, it's not the end of the world, and you just gear up for Memorial. And I think that's probably what we're going to see. So those fields should be pretty similar. I know Memorial is a limited field, so you'll have guys who have to sit out, but I think next week is going to be this end of the run, and then we'll start back up again with 3. We have a WGC at the end of July, beginning of August as well. So good stretch.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Coming in fast.
And the PGA Championship will be here before you know it. Like
one after another.
It's nuts.
And then it's the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then
it's the US Open, and then it's like, come on.
I don't mind it though. I like you get with so much golf every week for like pretty much 52 weeks. It becomes tiring, but this little sprint here is it re-energized me at least. It's fun. It's nice.
It's going to be cool. One thing that we should talk about from last week, and I think you tweeted this out, started to feel like March a little bit as Nick Watney on.
Oh, frig.
Oh man, I know. I
was nervous.
My world started to spin, and then like now I've already forgotten about it, which is probably bad. But Nick Watney test positive for COVID, withdrawals after the first round. Friday morning, got tested positive, gets sent home or whatever, gets sent into quarantine. Now, the good news out of this is, I guess using contact tracing, the tour followed up with 11 other tests of people who may have been exposed to Nick Watney, whether they were players, whether they were staff or personnel. All of those came back negative. So Pat, this was the first time the tour had to kind of use the response plan as opposed to just like the preparation plan. So far, so good.
Yeah, that I was, at first I was a little hesitant because there were reports that Watney was, he had these symptoms. I guess it was just like a elevated breathing rate through the night that kind of triggered an eyebrow raised. But then there were the reports where he was on the grounds Friday after receiving his test, but still awaiting results. And he was talking to McIlroy, Koepka saw him in the parking lot. Apparently, it was on the driving range. So I just found that a little concerning. But like you said, they're obviously they're maintaining enough distance where the virus isn't spreading throughout the tour. It was good to see that the 11 guys that did get tested, his group mates, the caddies, all tested negative. And then I guess today they're gonna release the results for this week, so we'll find out later in the afternoon to find out if any more positive tests happen, because I think it does take a little while for the virus to kind of fester and for it to show up on a test. So we will see. But last week definitely they handled it well. I was pleasantly surprised.
I was prepared for a disaster for sure. Like,
well, there was one tweet where someone said there was rumors of more positive tests coming. So I was just like, oh, we got to shut this thing down, because I knew one positive test wasn't going to shut down the tournament. That was never the plan, but there was never a number that they have said where that would cancel the tournament, that stop the tournament. Like if 3 guys tested, you don't know, they might have kept playing. But if 10 guys or 15 guys, like, you got to shut it down at that point.
And as bad as it is, I think it depends on which guys. Like, quite frankly, if Rory McIlroy tested positive,
you hate that might be a factor, but I think
it definitely is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
It's sad to say.
It's unbelievable. It's terrible, but it's definitely a factor. And I also think there might not be a number, but there would be like a critical mass of like, if 6 guys, if 10 guys, if 12 guys, and then everyone else was like, I don't want to play. Like, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Hopefully.
You might just get like enough pressure from players. So I hope we don't ever have to find out that situation or what the number is, but like, that is definitely part of it.
But I hope we never have to cross that bridge. Right. Talking about one guy testing positive is enough for me.
Yeah.
I was nervous Friday. I thought we were going to be going back into and that was also the day where like MLB teams were, shutting down camp, and the Tampa Bay Lightning had like 7 or 8 guys test, and they were shutting down phase 2 of their restart. So it was like, there were so many bad stories. That's why I said it felt like March 12th all over again, because it kind of felt like there was, just a sudden surge in the sports world. And I was nervous. I got very nervous.
The Friday news dump was terrible. Like,
ruins your weekend. It could ruin it.
North American teams all over are shutting it down. It was bad. Sergio Garcia comes to the defense of Nick Watney, says, nicest guy in the world. Hate that this has happened to Nick. And then basically says something along the lines of, there's other guys who deserved it more, or something like that. Like, or other guys.
Sergio.
And I hate that we didn't get the follow-up question of like, hey, Serge, who are you talking about?
Elaborate on some names here.
Who are the guys that should have gotten this instead of Nick Watney? Like, unbelievable.
I mean, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that there was like a little bit of a translation error there, but at the same time, he prefaced it with saying Nick Watney is one of the nicest guys. If he said like,
right, yeah.
If he said one of the safest, or he's like the most cautious,
yeah,
but there's other guys who deserve it more, that would make sense, because there's obviously guys who might not be following the rules. But he said nicest guys, which makes you believe that there's, guys he doesn't like that are deserving of it. And I was just,
oh man,
Sergio's never been one to, he's been known to stir the pot once in a while before. So some guys never change.
God, that was like, I just started laughing when I saw him say that.
He's got like a hit list, like in what was that movie?
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. Yeah, he's got a list of guys. Just cross it off as he goes along. But hopefully, no one on Sergio's list gets it.
JT was pretty critical of Hilton Head, saying basically everywhere they drove past, just didn't seem like people cared at all. Which if you click the Twitter replies, like, you should probably not. It was a cesspool. But like, there is something that I think people hate about rich people telling you that you shouldn't be having fun. But at the same time, like, if that's his observation that people aren't taking it seriously in Hilton Head, like, I don't know why that's a controversial statement. Like, that you maybe take heed.
Yeah, like I guess people from that area, or people who are acting the same way, would be, take offense to that. But I think that's good for JT, because he obviously sees that he's taking it serious, and there's other guys on tour who Koepka's been talking about how seriously he's taking it, and he knows that a couple more of these positive tests, and they're shut down, and no one wants to see that. So it's a good wake up call for these guys. It's unfortunate that someone did have to test positive, but yeah, JT kind of calling out an entire region probably isn't the best look for him. Like me, I'm up here in Toronto. We're taking it pretty serious, but I know we're maintaining, kind of limiting the number of positive tests daily. But just from what I've seen and read numbers wise, it seems like Florida and some of the southern states are maybe not taking it as serious. So we'll see how if Cromwell, Connecticut is as much of a zoo as it was last week at Hilton Head, because I could see Hilton Head being a little more leisure, a lot more beaches, a lot more going on with the nice weather. But yeah, Cromwell, we'll see if it's a party or not.
Yeah, I mean the numbers show that America stopped caring about this. So
yeah, I'm not in a position to say things like that. It's not my yeah, that's not a place I want to go. But I just know, like, it seems like the Cromwell, Connecticut area, they had a surge early, but I think they're doing a lot better now. So guys should be a little more comfortable in this week at least.
Well, fingers crossed. And I was proud of JT to hear that, right, to your exact point, that fact that he's taking it seriously, and I think other guys are. I did want to get last thing on this, because I'll have to follow up. I wanted to talk to Mark Immelman, who is our colleague over at CBS Sports, who was on site, and I wanted to ask him about, like, did things change, like, from Thursday to Friday? It looked like less guys were even fist bumping.
There was no fist bumps. It seemed like they were, I don't know. You notice after the rounds, they were just casually, fist bumping. Which is, again, it's not the end of the world. It's not shaking hands. These guys are still talking about washing their hands all the time, but like they were noticeably like air fist pumping, which I think is a quick reaction to the Watney news, and that's a positive sign. So maybe guys are going to be washing their hands more, sanitizing more, wiping down the flag sticks more. Just a little bit of a wake up call. I think they might have been a little complacent coming out of the gates.
Wake up call is a good word for it. This week, Travelers Championship, TPC River Highlands, Cromwell, Connecticut. This always gets good reviews from players. This is kind of it's a well-run event. It's a great course, but this is also, now we've got these events lumped together, and actually this is the first event that's still in its original spot of the schedule.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know how many more of these we have. Like, not many.
No, I don't remember the old schedule. It's changed so many times, but yeah, this one is definitely the first.
It's this one, 3M Open, and like that is it for the rest of the year, are the ones that are in its original scheduled position.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, this tournament does get, I think it's always voted, or at least recent years, it's been voted like kind of the best tournament for these players to attend. And it's the week after the US Open usually, or the last few years it has been. So it just kind of goes to show what the tournament organizers, how they treat the players, how they treat the caddies, because they always get a strong field, even though it is after a major. So it might be different without fans, but it sounds like these guys are excited to return to this area.
It is also, now that we've kind of had these three events in a row, this, we have like the Florida swing. This is like the swing of, you don't have to be a long hitter. Like, this is the swing of like anybody can win type of thing. I mean, TPC River Highlands is a shade over 6,800 yards. Like, obviously distance helps, but it is not required here for like basically the third straight week. So you should get these guys like Daniel Berger, like Webb Simpson. Like, it's a little bit different this week. You're getting more of an, more advantageous if you're a long hitter, but it's certainly not required. And that always, EPAT, that's always what players like, because 90% of them can't hit the ball like Rory can.
Yeah, I think the first week Colonial we thought it was a bit of a not rewarding the Bombers. Last week definitely didn't, because you guys you can't hit driver because they're just stuff in the way at like 330 yards.
It's like literally things there. Yeah.
Water, trees, all those things that get in the way. But I think this week, any course where Bubba's won 3 times, you have to reward length somehow. Like, Bubba's not just hitting iron off the tee and winning. So I think there's a distance element, but that's being said, the shorter hitters will have a chance. They're just going to have to gain a lot more strokes through, irons, short game putting, because there's going to be guys who are gaining 6 or 7 shots throughout the week off the tee, and we know who those names are going to be, and I'm sure a lot of them will rise to the top. So I think it'll look like, I don't want to say it's all going to be bombers, but I think a lot of the long guys are going to be at the top, and then you'll sprinkle in a few of the iron putter players throughout the top of the leaderboard.
Question for you, because you brought up Bubba. Bubba Watson might have a Hall of Fame career if he only played 3 courses, and those being TPC River Highlands, where he's won 3 times, Riviera, where he's won twice, and Augusta, where he's won twice. So he has 7 wins and 2 majors across 3 courses. To put that into perspective, I'm trying to find a guy who has 7 wins and like 2 majors who's in the Hall of Fame. Retief Goosen. Retief Goosen has 7 PGA Tour wins, and obviously this is the World Golf Hall of Fame, so it's not just PGA Tour. But Goosen's got 7 PGA wins, 2 majors. He's in the Hall of Fame. Harry Vardon, same. All of his 7 were majors. But so I guess Retief Goosen's the closest thing, but they're all PGA wins. I'm sure he has more international wins, but it's kind of crazy, right? Just 3 courses.
It is. It is. We know Bubba tracks, and this is definitely one of them. It's wild how successful he's been at. Riviera is no joke. Augusta, obviously, we know all about. So it's funny if he just stuck to this 3-course rotation, he'd probably that's quite a career. And I think Bubba's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I don't have the criteria right in front of me, but I think 7 and 2 majors is something that should get you in.
Plus Bubba, plus the other. So he's got 12 PGA Tour wins total. He'll definitely be.
He's in.
Yeah,
for sure he's in. But Webb just got. I think Webb's at 7 now with a U.S. Open, a Players. I think he might have won a playoff event. So Webb's starting to flirt with the Hall of Fame. They're looking for his number.
Yeah, you get a couple more, especially because Bubba. So Bubba's got, So Bubba has the match play. He's got a couple of WGCs,
right?
A couple of majors. Yeah, this looks like a Hall of Fame resume to me.
And like you said, he's done majority of that work on 3 courses, and one of them this week. And I think he's a lot of people are. He's a popular pick, deservingly so. He's been playing pretty solid. Even before the break, but definitely after. Didn't really play great on the weekend at the Heritage, but not a course that should fit Bubba's kind of shape it, bomb and gouge type of play. So this is one where if Bubba is really on, he's going to be in contention.
Yeah. So what pairing did he get? He got Wes Bryan and
Sung Kang.
Sung Kang.
Who doesn't have the best reputation on tour from what I've read. So
rumors say Sung Kang and Joel Damon tells us not necessarily the greatest record of. Oh man, I forgot. I always forget that Joel Damon was blue in the face trying to say that he dropped in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that's a feud that I think Damon's gonna hold with him for the rest of his career. But Bubba just came out and said that there's sometimes the tee sheets are a 1. It depends who you're playing with, but some guys are a 1 or 2 shot penalty just before you tee off. So we don't know if Sung Kang, or I think him and Wesley Bryan had some fun at the Heritage, but we'll see if Sung Kang's one of those players that Bubba was talking about being kind of a hindrance on his game, if you will.
Yeah, that was fun. Tee times just dropped, it looks like. So I'm scrolling through them now. But cool. This will be sweet. Those guys
Mickelson and Bryson together.
And Rory. And Rory.
Yeah,
how about that group?
Launch pad.
Bubba, Sung Kang, and Wes Bryan going off Thursday afternoon, 12:30. I guess this is Eastern time. They always do local time, so that'll be Eastern time. All right, EPAT, let's make a pick for this week. Now, let's review last week real quick. Mama.
I mean, the whole Twitter's been all over you, so why not take one more bow here, Rick?
One more victory lap before another tournament starts. I had Webb Simpson. He did pretty good last week, 1.2 million bones. You had Sung Jae Im, who missed the cut, although I will tell you, I think Sung Jae bounces back in a big way this week, my friend. I don't know
I
if
would
you
expect
feel
it.
that way.
We saw him on the range Saturday morning looking for a tee time.
Okay,
That
okay.
was one of the better
So,
pictures of the Saturday morning
is that
coverage.
because he's on the charter and he's waiting for the charter to
I
leave,
think so.
or
Yeah,
he like literally just didn't want to leave and just wanted to go like grind balls on the range?
probably both. Like even like a missed cut for him. All right, that's just another 6 hours at the range. That's not the
Also,
worst
he's
thing.
still in his full like
Yeah,
presumably what he would have wore on Saturday.
it's like he showed up to the course Saturday. Excuse me, couldn't find his name on the tee sheet or didn't get a text from the PGA Tour and just kind of stunned. He's like, "Well, what do you mean I don't have to play this weekend?" I
Yeah.
thought,
Dude
yeah,
couldn't show up in sweats and like a t-shirt. He had
yeah,
to
he
like
went.
full gear.
I guess he could. I think he had pants on too. I don't know if they're allowed to wear shorts, but he
Oh.
looked ready to go if someone needed an extra partner there.
Yeah, if they need a marker, Sung Jae will gladly play with you. All right, EPAT. I'll go first since I won last week. Now I don't know how we're doing this. We've never really defined the rules here.
You're whatever we're doing, you're winning.
But I mean, like, can I use I can't use the same guy I've used before, or can I?
Why not?
I'm gonna
Go for it. It
I
doesn't
want
matter.
I want Bryson.
Did you take Bryson at Colonial?
Yeah, I did.
All right, I'll give you a free pass on Colonial because this probably is a Bryson week.
I'm so okay. There's like sometimes, and I don't know. It's only happened a couple times where I'm like, I feel so strong. Like last week on Webb, I obviously felt very strongly. I don't feel that strongly, but like, but I feel very strongly that Bubba is going to win a lot, or not Bubba, excuse me. Bryson is going to win a lot of golf tournaments, like in a very short period of time, and I just think it might start this week. I'm so the stat that I gave was of the top 5 strokes gained guys this year, they combined for 6 wins. Bryson is second on the list and has 0 of them, like none of them. It's just unsustainable for him to keep playing this well and not win. So like, I don't know if it's this week or in a couple weeks or whatever, but like he's gonna win a lot.
So coming out of the break, we were all talking about Bryson he's even before the break, he was kind of trending in that direction, a couple of top 5s. And then coming out, I was like, Colonial doesn't really fit him. He proved me wrong. RBC Heritage, again, doesn't fit him. I wasn't too sold on him, but again, played solid, tee to green. And this, I don't know if I can dodge a third bullet, to be honest. Seems like, so I went, I have like this GPS app that goes through like courses you can use on the course. I did a quick tour of TPC River Highlands, set it where these guys will be playing from. And I counted 11 holes where I think Bryson will be able to hit driver. That's not including a drivable par 4 on the back 9. That's like
because he's gonna
yards.
He's gonna hit 3. He's gonna hit like 6 iron there.
Yeah, like that's just a little like he could. Again, the yardages were maybe a bit different than what they're going to be playing, but like there's going to be a series of holes where if he's hitting at 350, which I think he's averaging 340, he's going to have like 80 yards in like consecutively, and those are the runs where he just gets in such a groove. Like it's playing like the same hole pretty much over and over again. Driver, half wedge, gap wedge, whatever his distance is. So this might be the week where he just unleashes it, and he probably gain like 8 shots off the tee. And he's had success here before, and he had 2 top 10s here, and neither of those times did he gain a full shot off the tee. So
okay, you tweeted this. This is so good, right? This is what was kind of like this not like I was very close. I was like JT had my full attention, Bryson had my full attention, and when I saw this, so tell the people what this is. If you readjust his off the tee numbers, right?
Yeah, so this is kind of like fudging the numbers around to figure out like give a result that you want, but at the same time, so 2 top 10s in the last 2 years. At TPC River Highlands. But if you put his average strokes gained off the tee from 2020, so a decent sample size, which is 5.6, I think. If you put that off the tee average into his last 2 results here, he would have won in 2018, and he would have came second to Ches Reavie in 2019. So there's not many golfers who have gone through a transformation the way Bryson has, and I think if he doesn't gain 5 shots off the tee this week, I would be like stunned. Like he gained 3 last week at Heritage, and he was barely hitting drivers. So, easily five strokes off the tee this week. And I think this is, it suits perfectly for him. It almost seems too easy, which is why I'm hesitant.
It does feel too easy, right?
Like you shouldn't just be able to like see this projection and then line up to a course and you're just like, all right, he's going to win. Like there's still so much golf that has to be played, but at the same time, it seems like this is the week where he gets it done.
The crazy part is he told us he was going to do this. That's like the crazy part. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to be the best guy off the tee. Good luck.
He's doing it. Like he didn't, it's this week. And then I don't know if he's playing next week, but he's won at Muirfield. He won the Memorial 2 years ago, I believe. So
yeah,
there's 2 tournaments there. So I guess if we want to look at this from a betting perspective, even at 12-1, and you think he wins one of the next 3 events that he plays in, assuming he takes next week off, it's an automatic bet, I think.
I don't know how he doesn't win. All right, so who are you picking here?
You're saying that about a guy. Say that about a guy in a 156-man field. I don't I wasn't. This is like Tiger Woods of 2000.
I don't know how he doesn't win. So who are you picking?
I'll go Koepka.
Okay.
I think Koepka is kind of in the same. Koepka was first and off the tee last week, so I think that's gonna definitely help him here. And then just seems like a time he's trending up. He said he's never felt better currently than he has in like the past few years, ever since he's had that knee issue. And he talked about the juices getting going again. So I think Koepka's ready to win. He's kind of sick and tired of being overlooked and talking about Bryson, and just kind of wants to prove a point here. So Brooks is my pick.
Looked really good. I like that one a lot. All right, that'll do it. Eric Patterson at EPAC Golf. You can find his work on The Score. What's going on at The Score?
Download the Score app. That's all I got to say. I'm not much of a personal salesman, but the Score app is by far the best sports app out there. So that's all I got to say.
It is a great app. You should definitely download it. All right, that'll do it for this episode of 300 Yards to Unknown. We'll see you next time.